Hopefully I hit record on the board correctly and this actually recorded.
Yeah, Coltie, not here. So yeah, if you just listened to 60 minutes of us going and no sound, sorry.
We'll get it next time around.
But
the HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Deer Grow.
Man, it's almost food plot season, Jared, and Deer Grow is one of those products that has really changed the way that we plant food plots and the success we've seen from them.
No doubt. I've been, trying to plant food plots my entire whitetail hunting career, which is a little shorter than yours. But the minute that I started, or that I realized that I could get Deer Grow back into some of these remote plots where I couldn't get lime or fertilizer, especially in the 50-pound bag, format. Mm-hmm. So everything was changed. I could get into these spots moving forward with a backpack sprayer, and that's since escalated to these 40 or 60 gallon sprayers, and we're doing upwards of 5 to 10 acre food plots just with Deer Grow and having phenomenal success.
Yeah, and with the price of fertilizer, lime, diesel, everything this year, what better way to get in there and grow a successful food plot at about a third of the cost? Check out Deer Grow at deergrow.com. And we're back. HUNTR Podcast, episode 74. Oh, no, Coltie, to tell us that it's 74. Yeah. We're definitely going to forget him now. So Coltie is moved on. No, he did not die.
Moved on, not passed on.
Yeah.
He's no longer with us.
He's no longer with us.
He's not dead.
No, he's so Colton is heading to North Carolina, where he's going to do some video and media stuff in the athletic department for Campbell University. So he's going to be working with some D1 football, and it's kind of his passion. We were just kind of side bitches.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think we knew that all along. But Colton's uncle, Jason, has been into film and sports, kind of built a career around that. And in same way, also filmed for Bone Collector, produced shows for them and stuff. And so I think Colton's kind of navigating that course. And, sports, I think, are his priority. And, we're stoked for him. So believe at the beginning of this podcast, and probably the last one, we put out a little ad for looking to bring on a new, whether you want to call it an intern or
new Colton,
just somebody to be involved with our podcast and everything that we're working on here, which I think will include the whitetail property stuff at some point. And dude, it's an exciting thing here. The ability to be involved in the outdoor industry. Granted, it definitely has some dark corners. It's not all. Is that a good one?
No, it's not.
Okay. It's like anything. There's some parts of it that maybe are not as appealing that you see once you're on the inside. But I think that everything we're doing here is it has a lot of promise, a lot of potential. I'm certainly excited about it. I'm excited about whoever we can bring on to do this with us, what that will hold for them.
Well, there's not pressure. Like, we don't have the pressure to produce 13 episodes a year. We don't have, we just get on every week. And
well, dude, frankly, when we're kind of figuring it. So Colton's not sitting with us here today. Yeah. You and I set up the podcast, and it's just you and I rolling for today.
We tried yesterday, but we didn't have internet, and we didn't have battery on the laptop.
That's true.
So we were a complete shit show yesterday.
Well, and speaking of lack of pressure, I was just going to be like, well, dude, let's just take a week off. Let's take a break.
We've held strong for 74 weeks. We keep going.
There's no network here. It's just our own drive and ambition to keep us honest.
Well, like I said, it isn't the pressure. It's we enjoy doing this and getting on every week. I love it, man. I love sitting here and just being like forcing ourselves to talk about deer hunting for an hour. Well, we were supposed to have Eric Long from Drumming Log Wildlife on with us yesterday. We're going to talk about habitat and summer food plots and summer food. And we didn't have internet, so we couldn't tap Eric in, then we didn't have battery. So it's just us today. Jared and I are just going to shoot the shit here for about an hour, and keep the podcast strong. But, I think some of the things that we see, so we talked about whitetail property. As I was at a listing appointment last night, and the son is a shooter for Matthews, a good shooter too. Last year took third place at the Vegas shoot, shoots a lot of ASA tournament stuff. And it was funny because I was like, I'm no offense, I'm a Hoyt guy. And his dad's like, yeah, I just bought one. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, dude, he could for sure get you free Matthews bows. He's like, no, I shoot Hoyt.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
How about that?
Yeah. So it was pretty, and it's just funny when you get into that rhythm. And that's what's cool about Whitetail Properties is like a lot of those people are that guy. Some of them aren't, but you know, the industry as a whole, I tell people all the time, it's super small. It's not a big industry. You know, dollar wise, you may think it's a big industry, but people wise and how the conversations happen within the industry, it's a small industry, you know, and there are definitely some bad eggs in the industry. There always have been, you know, and there's definitely some really good ones who probably don't get the credit that they deserve. But there's an immense amount of pressure on a lot of these people who are geared around content, you know, us included a little bit in that, you know, our goal is to deliver at least one podcast every week. If it's an I Bought a Farm the week, we've got 2 coming out, you know, but it's different in terms of how we view that versus how, you know, we've talked about Aaron and Greg and the hunting public, and, you know, we've talked about the Seek One guys. Like, there's an immense pressure to film something that people want to watch and to be stuck to it.
Well, dude, let's go with this here for a little bit. It's kind of a weird time, like, for outdoor content. Like, and it's, you know, we've seen it like slip in, or, you know, we've, I think, been on the front line of witnessing the changes as they've happened. You know, I don't know what it was, maybe six or 8 years ago. Like, you still had the Outdoor Channel, Sportsman's Channel, even Pursuit up there.
Yeah, very prominent.
Kind of on top of things. And it was like, man, everybody kind of had cable or dish or some kind of like network access so that they could watch those channels. And, you know, the manufacturers were in line with that. A lot of the promotions were happening around those networks and stuff. And like, there is still some of that happening. You still have some of those, you know, bigger brands hanging on. They have kind of some residual, you know, power or clout, I suppose, even now that those things have faded away, essentially.
You know, are lying to themselves if they say that they're just as strong as they ever have, because we know household income or household numbers have dropped for those channels. You know, and most people, like, you know, I think I still have it probably because I'm too lazy to do anything about it. But, you know, I had to buy a sports pack in order to get Outdoor and Sportsman's Channel. Well, it costs an extra like $10 a month on a cable package that's already overpriced.
You have that still?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm curious, dude. I mean, because, like, you know, you're 10 years older than I am almost. And
I don't watch it.
You don't watch it?
I watch Outdoor America because it's on CTV or on my phone.
Sure. Me too.
Yep.
Just purely out of, like, it's there. I have a
TV for
Samsung
a reason.
TV, and it comes standard with Pursuit Up, Waypoint, and Outdoor America.
Yep.
And yeah, you know,
it's not like the newest content, but I mean, it's relevant content.
Well, it's not on demand either. You know, so for
streaming.
A generation that's like,
I want this and I want to watch it now.
Well, honestly, dude, half or more of the time that I'm watching those channels or anything, frankly, these days, it's like, Instagram's better, TikTok's better. You know, you could just get stuff so quickly, and it's like, man, that's the way to get. That's the way the pace is.
Well, that's why YouTube was so nice. You know, is that whatever I feel like watching right now, I just find it and I go watch it.
And still is. I mean, frankly, dude, if whenever I can get into a zone, you know, it fluctuates throughout the year. Sometimes I get in just a work mode, and I just don't have time to consume content. But when I start to be like, oh man, can't wait for this elk hunt coming up. Can't wait for this. You know,
you're on YouTube.
We've got a sick place locked down for South Dakota next year and stuff, and we're gonna draw Kansas this year. Iowa, so that's what a lot of my seeking out content is based around. Is like, I get excited about hunts that I'm going to do, and I want to see other people doing what I'm setting out to do.
And that's the pure channel for it.
YouTube's amazing.
That's the beauty of it. Is like, I'm not looking for the guy.
That's how I met our buddy Jason from North Dakota.
Exactly.
I literally was like, hey, just watch your videos. Like,
yeah, and I don't care that it only got 5,000 views. I'm not going to watch everything that only gets 500,000 views. Like, I'm just looking for the most specific relation to what I'm searching for. And in Jason Blue's case, is like, oh, this guy's got 2,500 views on this video. And then you watch, you're like, dude, that was awesome. That's what we want to do. And so because YouTube is, and I know people bitch about it because of the policies and firearm policies and hunting content. I get that, right? It's big tech.
It's not good. We don't agree with that.
We don't agree with it. That said, it is still the platform for the opportunity for the everyday guy to share his experience with everybody else. Can't do that on any other channel. You have to pay to play on most of those channels.
Social.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, when's the last time you watched a 10-minute video on Facebook?
Yeah, not recently.
No, I watched it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But not on Facebook, not on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, and I guess what I don't know is like how many people do it the way that I do it. Because I think even you and I differ. Like
a lot.
Yeah. The reason YouTube works so well for me is, first of all, it's on demand.
Yep.
You know, frankly, Midwest Whitetail is what brought me to.
It's the number 2 search engine in the world.
Yeah.
Behind Google.
Obviously, it just owns all this stuff.
I mean, I use it for how-to stuff.
Chromecast is what I really enjoy, because
then you can stream it up.
Yep. So it's literally like it's on TV.
On TV.
Yeah.
Yep.
And dude, half the time I'm watching TV. Frankly, the only time I watch TV is when I'm in the sauna. Like I try to sauna 25 minutes a day. Mm-hmm. I jump in there and there's a TV, so I go on YouTube, look up a hunt, you know, or whatever, and I stream it to the TV, and then that's
which, by the way, Emily wants to buy one of those saunas.
Oh yeah. That's a move.
She's training for like the summer races, and she's like, "What?" I was like, "Well, what about like an indoor sauna?" She's like, "What's that?" I was like, "Jared uses one all the time."
It's a move, for sure. I think it's like $130.
Yeah.
Yeah. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
For sure. One day I'll buy a barrel sauna, but for now.
For now. But yeah, I mean, listen, YouTube is built for being able to engage in it like short form TV. You know, if I get bored 5 minutes into a video, I find another video and watch it on the same category on demand when I want it.
Yeah. Well, so like what's weird is like, you know, so flashback to 6-8 years ago or whatever it was, and you've got these prominent brands that we're well aware of. You know, everybody knows Michael Waddell's Bone Collector. Everybody knew
Jim Shockey.
Yeah, Jim Shockey.
Mark and Terry Drury.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, you have all these, you know, Lee and Tiffany, the Crush,
heavy hitters. They were
road trips.
They were the TV icons.
Yeah, and that's what everybody kind of like related to. That's what you and I grew up watching, and
it was celebrities. When you saw them at a show, you're like, dude, there's Michael Waddell.
They were the people, and so now that those platforms are like, for our generations, anyways. I know they're still there, but like they're as good as dead. Like, dude, MOTV, who has no. You know, and they're not on YouTube because they have these exclusive agreements and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and there are obviously a few that have pulled away on YouTube.
But you're saying
Hunting Public probably by far, you know, them, Midwest Whitetail.
Yeah, I mean, actually pulled away.
Where's Seek One? Yeah, where do you watch Seek
One? On YouTube.
Yeah, they did really well with it, or are doing well.
But didn't pull away. I mean, like they never were on TV.
Notable, though.
I was looking at like the people that like pulled away from Midwest Whitetail was the one. They left sports.
I'm sure there's a couple we're missing.
Went digital. On stuff. Heartland Bowhunter. I mean, look how much Heartland Bowhunter. Sean and Mike do a ton of stuff online digitally now.
Yes, but dude, they're a weird one because like
it's on Carbon TV.
They did fantastically on the network, and
they still are.
Anybody can see the view. You can see our views. You can see they don't get nearly. They get more views probably than we get, but not nearly as many as I believe they deserve. Frankly, you know, I think it's great content. It's weird how, you know, the Hunting Public has really done well with it. Mm-hmm. But what's weird is like it doesn't seem like that attachment to an industry from like just a hunter standpoint. Like where at one time I was connected to these brands, I felt like, man, Michael's the guy or whoever. That it's weaker than it ever has been.
I mean, I truly believe, and there's no offense to anybody that's doing it right now. First of all, if you're not familiar with outdoor television, it's a pay-to-play game, meaning you're paying the network for airtime of which your show then airs.
Which is backwards from how anybody else does
every other major network, A&E, whoever, is paying for that content. They're paying to license that content. So that's the first big thing. Second is that I truly believe that most people who are doing that right now in today's society are slowly killing themselves. Number one, they're paying out a ton of money to a place where most of your audience doesn't care. Yeah. You're doing it because you think the sponsors
and the sponsors are getting more and more affordable because they need people on the network.
100%.
And so, you're going to have people who still have that looming thought of, I'm going to be on outdoor.
And maybe, no offense to them, less quality shows because, you just kind of need to take somebody to fill the spot.
100%
on TV?
100%. That's what's happening. So the quality of content on those platforms is decreasing. You know, the quality of content on YouTube is the same. Maybe a little better.
Yeah, and again, I personally don't like, and maybe, well, I don't think we do it. I don't like overproduced stuff on YouTube. Like, I want a little production value. I don't want it to be rough and shaky, but I don't want to see a television show on YouTube. That's not what I'm there for. I want
What about a TV show don't you want?
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Hoyt Archery.
Dude, where would we be without our Hoyt bows?
Probably shooting crossbows.
or a Matthews, yeah.
One and the same.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, we love being Hoyt guys because you stand out. When you're in this room full of other people that shoot these other types of bows, I feel like the Hoyt guys just stick out.
Dude, it's just a legit bow. I mean, especially that carbon riser, man. I mean, I know that they've got several other aluminum lines as well, but for me, I'm shooting that RX5 in the carbon model. They've since come out with the RX7, and I can't tell you how much I love being a Hoyt guy amongst a sea full of Matthews guys. So we're out there, I think, proving them wrong, shooting 80 pounds and killing stuff.
Hey, man, if you want to get serious, get Hoyt. And the lead up, the build, like I just want to get to the nuts and bolts of it. Like get me into the episode and get me through the episode. 15 minutes or less. Right? Sure. Don't give me 15 minutes of build up. I mean, honestly, dude, it's the same.
It's the same on TV. I think we just want that, regardless of the platform.
Agree, but if in a YouTube front, if you lead me in with like 10 minutes of fluffing the outfitter you're with, I'm gone. Yeah. Or I'm fast forwarding it to the good part.
Depends. Yeah, I mean, it depends how good. Like, dude, I can watch a full Heartland bow hunter.
Agree.
Because they're good storytellers.
I agree.
Most people aren't. Most people just kill a giant buck, and that's what I want to see. You know, it's like I fast forward to, there he is.
That's why, like, even in like the hunting public and stuff, it's like they pull you into the action pretty quickly. Same with Seek One. There's story behind it, but they pull you into the action pretty quickly. You know, some of these shows, because they have to fill a 22-minute slot. There's 8 minutes of commercials, 22 minutes. There's 17 minutes of fluff and 5 minutes of actual content.
Yeah. Dude, it's funny to think about why we watch hunting shows. Like, it's different than any, I suppose, like action sports would be a similar, or maybe sports.
Yeah, but you don't go back and watch them retroactively. That used to be the big thing. Yeah, that'd be the big thing that I always talked about, is like the day after the sports story, and then it's dead. Like, you don't go back and say, hey, let me watch that Steelers game from four weeks ago. No, but I'll watch that.
Highlights.
I'll watch that hunt. I won't watch that. I wouldn't watch highlight 4 weeks later.
Do people? I'm not a sports guy.
I mean, I am a sports guy, and I don't.
You don't watch, yeah.
But I would watch a hunt from 4 years ago.
Yeah, 100%. I prefer it.
Yeah, I mean, sports.
Older the better.
Sports there are certain moments.
What is that? Why do we watch hunting shows?
I think it's just there's a nostalgia about it for sure. You know, and like it just, you know, because we know him. In fact, we talked to him this week. You know, Winky is one where, like, dude, I could watch like G4 buck or G5 buck 100 times.
Yeah.
And be like, oh man, did you ever think that was gonna happen? You know.
I guess it's because we relate to the hunter and we relate to the experience.
Sure.
And it fires us up.
But I've seen some randoms like that too, man. Yeah. Like even during like when we get to rifle season and deer camp and stuff, like I'll find people that do like Pennsylvania deer camps and I'll watch them. I have no idea who they are. They may have 30 views on it, and I'll watch 20 minutes of it just because I'm like, yeah, I respect that. That's a cool atmosphere.
Sure.
Where else can you get that? You know, where else is there a connection like that to people where it's like, well, that person who doesn't know me made an impact on me because they uploaded a video and 30 people watched it. I was one of them. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was cool. Mm-hmm. You know, and instantly when you put it on TV, you know, people will tell you, well, you know, 20 million viewers a week or whatever it is. It's like, no, there isn't.
Right.
No, there isn't.
It just seems to be like it's just a different format, you know, is like really because I know what you're saying. They don't put full hunts on TikTok or Instagram.
I wouldn't watch them if they did.
But, you know, people are connecting with, let's call them influencers on those platforms.
Short pieces.
Via short series, you know.
Short form. Mm-hmm.
I do.
Yeah,
I don't know their names or anything, but like if I scroll through Instagram, I'm like, oh, there's that guy doing the thing. I'm used to seeing him. That's what he does.
Under 60 seconds.
Yeah, short.
Yep. Which is cool. And I mean, that's the in the moment type of stuff, like to see them doing things that maybe I'm doing or I'm thinking about because it's the same time of year. Whereas the YouTube is the search on demand platform, right? It's the greatest index of outdoor content that exists in the world. Yeah. You know, maybe they don't see eye to eye with all of our viewpoints, but at the end of the day, I would die if we lose that ability to dive into millions of hours of outdoor related content from millions of different content producers
on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and so that's when people are like, screw YouTube. Like, I'm never watching it again, or, whatever. They can do whatever they want. No, I don't want them to do that, because where does that content live? Where does it go? It's gone forever.
Sure.
So maybe the guys like Heartland Bowhunter or Midwest Whitetail or Hunting Public upload it somewhere else, but the dude who put his Pennsylvania hunting camp up for 30 views is not. He's not taking the time to put it anywhere else.
Like, what's crazy, though, is, and I'm using that 6 to 8 year time frame back then, is like that's what the industry was. All of the manufacturers lined up and said, Nomad is partnered with Drury Outdoors, and that's how products were promoted and sold. I mean, dude, I could probably name on 9 fingers the relationships that are promoted on like YouTube. Like, rattle through some of those content brands we're talking about, and maybe they have a handful of partners that they kind of toss in there.
Yep.
And I know that there's been a giant increase in like content marketing from brands. You see, I don't have to name them. Like, you see films put out by
100%,
whether it's purchased or just paid for initially out of by the
Yetis, the Sitkas of the world, and whatever.
Yeah, so that exists and they're out there, and I think that benefits those. But it's just a very different. I don't know. It's just a very different format.
Yeah, and again, like, I don't mind those films. They're very well produced. Maybe too produced for the YouTube side of it. Like, I'd watch it on YouTube.
Where are they? Are they just on YouTube for the most part, or on those companies' websites and stuff? Yeah,
I think a lot of them do put short films on like Waypoint or Outdoor America and stuff like that. But I mean,
is Carbon still TV still around?
It's still there.
That's
where Heartland is.
Okay.
Where some of Heartland is. Yeah, I think the thing that I would say, and we work with a lot of them, but what do sponsors in this industry now think? Because I think they're confused as hell.
Yeah.
For the longest time,
I think they've been confused for 10 years.
The brands that have, lasted the test of time and have been around, they did print ads and they paid $50,000 to these TV shows and $100,000 to these TV shows, and that was their marketing. That's what they did. As that faded and quickly changed, it became, well, now what? What do we do? And some of them I think have adapted to that and embraced, smaller influencers, whether it's an Outdoors Alley or a Hunting Public or Seek One, Hunter.
Yeah.
But at the same breath, like, I think there's a lot of them that are still, like, I talked to a guy the other day, good show, it's a good guy. His minimum sponsor is $50,000. His max sponsor is $150,000. And it's like,
and that's coming from having to pay for network placement.
100%.
That's why they charge that. Is it worth it to a manufacturer? Absolutely not. There's no way.
No way. It's not. I mean, there are definitely.
So what do you do? Like, dude, as a manufacturer, say you put yourself in Eldred's position,
Yep.
If you don't have, they lean heavy on kind of both fronts. They've got a Cam who's all social media. Mm-hmm. I've never even seen the guy hunting besides on YouTube or TikTok.
Correct. Yeah.
Maybe not even YouTube, like, Instagram videos.
Yep.
And they still are partnered with Bone Collector. So you kind of have two.
Mm-hmm. They're covering the front.
And they're doing well with that.
Yep.
But, like, if, I don't know, put yourself in a similar situation. Like, if you're like, hey.
Yeah, but you're an established brand as Hoyt. You've got a network of dealers.
Let's say you're not. Yeah, I want to do a direct marketing campaign to XYZ.
You could not afford to take a risk on a television show, in my opinion. That budget could cripple your business.
Who do you use? You're like, I want to produce content with this brand.
I think you have to go to the influencers. You have to go to the digital content creators.
I mean, dude, yeah, but who are they? Like, you can name them on, like I said, 9 fingers.
Well, I think that's where it comes back is there are some that get the numbers from an influential side. Then there are some who just produce content. And this is what's cool about, I think, where media is today is you don't have to be a known somebody. If you put out a great piece of content, people will find it. Mm-hmm. And so if there are plenty of guys, Deer Grow is a great example. I've got guys that'll call me and say, hey, just send me a couple packs of Deer Grow and, like, I'll do X videos on YouTube. Done. Cost me nothing. Couple packs of products, great. Test the product. Tell me what the results were. Send me some pictures. Do your YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And people will find that content if it's good. And if it's good, I will use the content as the brand. And it cost me relatively nothing.
But those are crumbs compared to what somebody like a Sturgis can do for deer grow.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Which is why those brands have to seek out who their right partnerships are. And listen, these relationships don't come from just money. Like the relationships with a Bill Winke or Jeff Sturgis or Don Higgins comes from years of just like knowing the people, right?
Yeah.
The last thing that any of these guys want to hear.
And having a good product.
Yeah. The last thing any of these guys want to hear is like, hey, here's my product. I'll pay you $100,000 a year. Cool. That's great. But there's a lot of people that trust these guys to give them the best advice in the long run. And so ultimately the product that they're promoting and the brand that they're promoting, they have to be, actively engaged. When Jeff's doing 200 pieces of content a year, how's he going to produce or promote a shit product, 44 times during that 200 episodes?
Well, and, frankly, not to speak about his business model with him not here, but like Jeff doesn't need, I don't think Jeff needs sponsorships to eat. No. And I mean, he does property management as a full-time job, consulting.
Yep.
And he likes producing content.
And he makes a revenue off of YouTube.
Yep. And much like we use the podcast as a very nice complement to our Whitetail Properties business, Jeff uses, his content creation as a very nice complement to his property 100%. Management business.
Yep. Set it up.
And I think that's a winning business model. I think that's successful.
Yep.
But it's, like I said, it's very different from relying on sponsorships to pay our bills.
Completely different. And I mean, it goes back, we talked about this on the About a Farm side, it goes back to the multiple revenue stream side. It's like a guy like Jeff Sturgis, it's a single business, but he's got multiple revenue streams coming into that business, right? And that's what keeps him nimble, and that's what gives him the diversity to do what he does and how he does it. When you are banking all of your money on a television show and it costs you $150,000 to be on that show during 2 quarters, and then you raise $500,000 in sponsorships, which is a lot, and then have your cost of travel and cost of production and everything in there, you net nothing.
It's a ton, dude.
You net nothing. You make no money.
Yeah. Which a lot of these guys are okay with. They're like, well, I just like doing it. Really?
It's a hobby then. It's not a business.
Which is fine, but like, just go enjoy. I will never understand that. Somebody that just wants to be on TV and will endure the stress of, 13, 22-minute episodes.
Yep.
To be that, to have that. Like, that's dumb.
No. I mean, I think that's probably ego-driven. I mean, if you're not running it as a business, why are you putting so much behind it and so much effort behind it?
Well, ego or, frankly, kind of pipe dreams of being what no longer exists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because those are dead.
Well, even look at the guys like Michael and Drury's, right? Because those are the two guys who, at one point in time, I would say they were at the top. I would say today they're probably still at the top, but they are because of they've diversified their portfolio. Those guys put out more content digitally
YouTube.
now.
It's YouTube.
Tons of it.
They're on MOTV.
Yep.
I don't know the numbers, but
they're on Outdoor Channel. They still do all that stuff, but the amount of digital content they're producing is astronomical. Mm-hmm. And they knew that. They knew they had to do that. The ones who have stuck purely with TV have to be struggling or are out of business.
Yeah. Or we don't even know what they are. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And again, where I get worried, there are groups.
I am worried.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Generally speaking, I'm not stoked about the state of things.
There are groups of people that are really good content producers that then get put in this pipe dream of like, well, I'm going to be on TV and I'm going to do this, where they would be way better off on YouTube. And I think the reason why is that most sponsors are not acknowledging the value of good quality free-based content like YouTube. The moment you're on a paid network, then they feel the obligation to make a sponsorship dollars that's more.
That's a good point.
So I half blame the sponsors on that side.
Well, I think they're being fed by just a COVID, boom in demand. Yeah. So for 2 years now, you've got manufacturers feeling like they don't have to do marketing, and you've got influencers who can't rub 2 pennies together making YouTube content, even though that's the place to be. And so slowly they're just fading away.
Sure.
It's just do those relationships exist?
Yeah. Well, and on the content producer side, and it's not the same across the board, but you'll hear many sponsors tell you that that's a dime a dozen.
What is?
Content producers. That during back in the day at ATA show, if you were running a brand, you would have 90 people easily say, just give me product and I'll make you content. So the people who are trying to make a business out of it have an uphill battle. Maybe they can do it better, but is it worth the money that they're charging versus like, I can just give these guys some free product and they'll just give me a bunch of photos and videos. That's all I need. And so that becomes then the section of like, if outdoor television went away and we purely had digital-based content left, there are a lot of people who do it just because they love it. It's a hobby. They're good with a camera. They're going to,
You do it because you love it.
You do it because you love it. But if you do that, what happens to the people who are trying to make a business out of that?
Being a content producer?
Mm-hmm. Unless you're one of the...
Multiple revenue streams.
Well, yeah. Unless you're one of the top dogs, you're going to get cut. And that's what happened, man. We called this thing probably, 3-4 years ago. We said, basically, here's what's going to happen.
It was longer than that.
Was it?
Yeah.
As the sponsorships start to tank because they realize that the value of television has declined, the top dogs will remain. The middle group, which is the majority of the television shows, 70% of the television shows are in that middle group, would be consumed. They'd be dead. And the bottom group would either move up into their spot, which would mean less quality television, and or they would just fall off as well. And you would be left with basically a few remaining peak shows and then nothing. Just randos in that mix. Because the people who are good for a long time, like I'm trying to, and I don't mean this disrespectfully for anyone, but I'm trying to think of like a couple good shows that had like long running
network shows.
Yeah, but they were not like high end, not like the Bone Collector. But
that's a very high end.
Yeah, Raised Hunting was up high end. I'm thinking like just middle, like shows that you would watch and it would be like
Canadian Whitetail.
Yeah, Canadian Whitetail would be a great one. Like he's got.
And there he was with my Ozonics, ready for the buck to walk into the field.
There you go. Like
great show, giant bucks.
Has a great show, but probably was a middle.
Great show, eh?
A middle tier television show during the peak.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's consumed him. He's probably on Wild TV because of Canada, but I bet it's eaten his business model up, pretty substantially. The downfall of sponsor dollars in relation to television.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. In the same.
Well, because you don't see the shows like I don't know if Nate and Randy. I don't think Nate and Randy are doing Headhunters. Maybe they are, but like Headhunters TV was one that was always on there. Does it exist anymore?
Wow, yeah. Oh, dude, there's a lot.
Wild Outdoors, Jay Gregory. Like there's you could name a ton of these shows that I don't know if they exist on television anymore. They may exist digitally because that had to be the migration.
Well, and even if they are, how would you know?
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Stealth Cam.
Dude, where would we be without our cell cams?
I would definitely be divorced at this point.
Yeah, I hear that.
I mean, the fact is I spent more time checking cameras than I actually did hunting prior to cell cameras. Now, at least, my wife can enjoy me being in the comfort of my own home, buried in my phone, checking those pictures.
Yeah, 100%. And, dude, when it comes to trail cameras and definitely cell cameras, reliability is, I think, the number one thing that we're looking for. Stealth Cam just has a long reputation of reliable cameras, and ultimately, that is the most important thing to us. They have to work.
In terms of reliability, there's not a better camera on the market than Stealth Cam, whether you're talking about the Fusion X, the Reactor, or the DS4K Transmit. And most of them are under $200.
Stealthcam.com. Check them out. I think a lot of people have Outdoor America, Waypoint, and Pursuit up. Those are like come standard on Samsung
and that's
devices.
How, if I want TV channel fixed, that's how I get it.
Yeah, and frankly, that's programmed television. So, like, I don't know what's coming on tomorrow at 6. Right now, it's fishing, and I don't care about that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, so you go to YouTube.
Yeah.
Because you can search on demand.
And frankly, dude, there is nobody that I watch consistently on YouTube.
I mean, there are some on-demand platforms. Like I can go to Roku and do that, but it's a pain in my ass. I don't like doing it. Like I'm
anybody got Roku? No.
Tick, 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 tick. A. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus, I'm done.
Yeah.
So yeah, you go to YouTube. That's your thing. That's what makes things like Netflix and Amazon Prime so great is like if I want to watch mainstream television or series.
How bizarre.
Search, click, there it is, boom, watch it.
How bizarre. Yeah, that you have like 1 or 2. It's just basically Meat Eater is on Netflix, right?
Yes.
And that's it. Like what other hunting shows on Netflix?
None that I know of.
Is Meat Eater a hunting show?
Mm-hmm.
They hunt. Yeah, they hunt.
They hunt. Yeah. That's the only one I know of. And there's a bunch on Amazon Prime, but like I don't watch hunting on Amazon Prime. Like I know Hunting Public's on there.
Okay.
Midwest Whitetail might be on there.
Yeah.
But I don't watch those. No, I'll go to the Outdoor America.
Well, dude, that's what I'm saying though. Like at one time we were subscribers. Like I was all in. Like dude, Midwest Whitetail changed my life. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now it's just kind of like, I'll just like go on YouTube and be like, North Dakota mule deer hunt.
Mm-hmm. You know, broad-based keywords.
Like last year's.
Yeah. Kentucky buck hunting, Kansas bucks. Like, yeah, that's exactly.
And it'll be some random. It'll be like, so-and-so's 180 inch. I'm like, cool.
Yes. Yeah, watch it.
And I'm not influenced by it at all, frankly. And
no, but it's what you're consuming, and in a limited amount of time in a day to consume content, it's what you're choosing to consume.
Well, I can see the struggle from a sponsor standpoint of like it's like herding cats in terms of assigning a sponsorship value to that type of content.
Yeah.
You know, intake or.
Yeah.
Whatever. How do you?
It's random.
Because it's all kind of random people, just random videos. It's like you'd have to just advertise on the platform, which people do. That's AdSense.
Well, and I mean that's why I think a lot of people have just started to pay those manufacturers have started to pay content producers just for content. Like if you produce me content, I don't really give a shit where you put it. Just give me content and I'll use it for myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it becomes an issue because, you know,
I don't like that approach, by the way.
Right.
I'm not a fan of that.
We're used to the landscape habitat being fragmented. Our content consumption from an outdoor perspective is extremely fragmented. I couldn't tell you where most people I could probably tell you that most people see their content on YouTube or social media, but I couldn't tell you what they're watching.
Well, and dude, like not to be pessimistic about it, but like after this past year's ATA, like doesn't it feel like what outdoor industry?
Yeah, it died.
It's like I know it's there. Like we know people that are active.
Well, it's just what the outdoor industry as we knew it.
Yeah,
is dead.
Right.
The trade show market dead. Television market
what it has
dead.
become or will be like seems like it's yet to.
Well, what I fear is that it's not what it is becoming is not realistic, because without tangible shows, like you produce a show, you produce these deliverables, you do this, without trade shows of interaction and people, like everything's just virtual and like it happens. Like, dude, I haven't seen, you know, some of our clients in years because of COVID and stuff. And it's just like, it's there, there's a relationship, it's tangible, but it's not like how sustainable is culture when we're just talking to computer screens. And that's not a knock on COVID. That's just the world now will do that from now on. And I'm not complaining about it completely, because like this weekend I'll go to Kentucky. I might stay there Monday, and so I'll take some phone calls on my phone from the cabin and do whatever I want.
To answer your question, devastating. You know, that's our response to COVID, whether you think it was warranted or not. It has created
isolation,
a significant cultural barrier, not just with this industry, but, you know, all of them.
In a country of introverts that were already introverts, you know, you now push them even further and deeper into, I don't want to interact with anyone. I don't want to talk with someone.
It's very, I guess, you know, a lot of how I feel about the industry could be said about just, you know, state of people in general, like just very short, detached, introverted, like you said.
Yeah. Well, think about it. I mean, obviously it's made modern communication excel with social media, text messaging, email. But think about, like, go back and be like, you had to pick up a phone. That was the only way you could get to somebody is you either saw them in person, you wrote them a letter, or you picked up the phone and called them. There was no email, there was no text messaging, there was no social.
Yeah.
And
dude, what a drastic change from, I mean, it was like text messaging is probably one of the culprits. Like at one time, you lived and did this, like, you know, we would, and this is the only time we would talk unless I called you or I saw you on the street.
Yeah. Well,
you know, but now
Lauer and I talked about it with like AOL Instant Messenger. Like that was the first like social media type of thing of like, I waited at a computer for a door to open and to click on that person and type them a note. Because text messaging didn't exist.
Well, and it creates like an alternate universe that you're living in. Like even, you know, 100%. As we're sitting here, like text messages come into your phone and stuff. It's like you could live in this universe, you know, and then choose to live in this universe.
Most people choose to live in this universe right here on the phone.
Which, from a productivity standpoint, from, you know, there definitely are benefits.
Huge. Yep. Yeah, I probably get to, the reason I can manage multiple jobs and companies and tasks is because I can do things while I'm moving.
Yeah.
if I had to be at one place for 10 hours all the time, can do that.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm not saying all of this is inherently bad at all. I'm just...
But it's where it led it to. You know, that was the deciding factor of, like, as television dies. You know, it's weird. Like, I don't know what we were watching or something. Like, normally if I watch literally, like, my TV, it's local news. And it's on, like, in the background at some point.
I don't think we have the attention span for it anymore. Even us. Like, dude, when's the last time you sat down and watched a whole movie?
Never. I usually watch, if they do it right, I watch one episode of something on Netflix while I'm laying in bed before I fall asleep.
Yeah, and what's come out recently that's good?
I'm just flailing at this point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, dude, well, you know, and those are a couple of different things.
Ozark was good, but now it's over. All my shows...
Ozark was years ago.
Well, no.
You're still watching...
They just finished the series.
Well, you're still watching, what's that redheaded show?
What?
The redheaded dude.
Which one? Stranger Things?
No.
But that's coming out.
Come on. What's that show that you were stuck on forever?
God damn it.
With the tracks and the dudes from Sweet Life? Zach and Cody?
No, yeah, which one was that? What show
Come on.
Wasn't Dexter, was it?
No. The new Dexter sucks, by the way. If you've
I
seen
didn't watch it.
Yeah, don't.
No, I didn't watch it. What was I stuck on?
You and Brianna love it. It's real stupid.
What do you mean it's real stupid?
It's like there's two sides of the track. Archie.
Oh, Riverdale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. That was a CW movie or show though.
Yeah.
And then on that,
I was in on the first.
I still
season.
watch it. There's like again, sports. There's a show which, you know, it's gotten real political and down a rabbit hole, but like All American.
That's a good direction to take shit. Oh yeah. I was out after a couple episodes.
Yeah. So like, but those are the things.
Dude, has any show ever gone political and then gotten better?
No. Ozark was good.
They've all gotten
that wrapped up a week ago.
Yeah.
The final series. That was a good show. But then it's like, well, now what? And so like we end up watching 4 or 5 shows.
Yellowstone's good.
Yeah, I'm watching. Well, I've got Apple TV, so I'm watching.
Okay, Sir Moneybags over here.
It comes free with like I don't know, something I buy.
Okay.
I don't have like an Apple TV. I just watch it on my iPad.
Right.
But it's like Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway. It's like We Crashed. It's like this entrepreneur story of like them doing this WeWork, which was like this community workspace thing. How they built this thing up and then like it fell apart. But like it's just a random because I don't have anything else to watch.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is like just prior to COVID, you know, like whatever, Hollywood, the movie industry was great. Yeah. I mean, you think about like Wolf of Wall Street and like some of these more like some of the greatest movies.
Well, there you go. And I know people are making a return because I think it's like what just came out, Doctor Strange 2 or something like that. But movie theaters, dude. When's the last time you've gone to a movie theater?
Yeah, not recently.
I mean, do you think that could survive the pandemic? Because people are now, like, they're trying to push you back into these theaters because that's how those movies made money. Where meanwhile, it's like, dude, if you just release that on whatever, Netflix for $20, I'd pay for it and you'd probably make more money.
I mean, dude, it can't not be a direct correlation with COVID because we just can't.
COVID was the nail in the coffin. It was already heading that way.
You think?
And then that drilled it down. 100%.
Well, maybe like it seems like it kind of created that void to where now we're just like, you know, this is what we do now, and you can't go back to like consuming a whole storyline.
Here's a great example of why this is super scary. So okay, TV's fading, right? Let's bank on digital. The name in digital is Netflix, right? That is the shit. During COVID, Netflix grew massive amounts. This year, it's down like 70+% in stock. Because COVID's over, everybody's not sitting around just watching Netflix all day. The stock has just plummeted. And so it's like...
Yeah, but you know what they are doing is scrolling through TikTok.
And so now the shift becomes, again, and you know, Google...
Because we don't have the time. We don't have, like... First of all, the quality...
Our attention spans are getting smaller and smaller.
Yes, and I'm saying that like the shift there was COVID, the inability to gather and... create ideas and come up with, and so now that you know that died temporarily, not that it, you know, now that we're kind of out of this thing, they could get back together and brainstorm and make some awesome movies. I'm sure.
Sure.
Are we ready to like accept that? I don't know. I think we're just glued to TikTok.
I mean, again, that Doctor Strange video, I'm sure it'll do well, but they probably spent, I don't know, $50 million, $100 million to make that movie.
Let me say this: lots of terrible movies have done very well. You ever seen a Marvel movie?
Yeah. They're not awesome. I like Marvel.
Name a good one.
Like any Thor movie?
Exactly. Okay. Moving on.
Anyways, that's kind of, that's my wheelhouse.
I've actually never seen Thor.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You should watch it.
That was Brad Pitt. What am I?
Dude, what I do get caught up on.
What was that Brad Pitt movie?
What I get caught up on are all
That's
these
Thor.
TikTok or Instagram Johnny Depp's and Amber Heard courtroom things. Like, I just am dying in these things.
Yeah.
So, but that's where my attention is.
You guys, a mega pint. I poured my a large glass of red wine.
I mean, Mr. Depp, you were very drunk. Were you there? Were you there?
What's that even about? Did he hit her or something?
No, he's suing her for defamation. So she said, supposedly she said a bunch of stuff and it got published in a magazine or news outlet or something. And so he's suing her. It's
good.
What a shit show though. Like, but anyways, like
Is that his wife?
Yeah, or ex-wife. I think. She yeah.
I've seen it as well. I just am not aware of the.
But I mean, that's where our attention span is going to. So, okay, now translate that back to our outdoor industry. How can you convey a great message in 60 seconds when we're going to be on this podcast for an hour here soon? Because that's what people are now. If they're going back to TikTok and Instagram Reels and stuff, And I feel good about us because like I can go and see our watch time, and our average watch time is usually 40 to 50 minutes per sitting.
Yeah,
which is good.
Yeah. Well, there's certain people have time for it. I think people that drive a lot or people that exercise. Mm-hmm. People. Whenever you have an earbud in,
sure,
you've got time for
listening at least
for something. Yeah, and so it's either music or podcasts are obviously better than ever. In terms of viewership and stuff, and that happened with COVID as well. I don't know, man. It's interesting. Like the outdoor industry is obviously kind of where we started that conversation, but it's the state of like our ability to consume content. What we're
Well, my fear is right now is like, and again, it's whatever, Friday the 13th. It's May. I don't feel
it's Friday the 13th.
It's Friday the 13th. I don't feel like looking forward to something coming out. Like I used to Monday mornings, Midwest Whitetail.
Yeah. I know.
You used to look forward.
I was so jazzed.
You used to look forward to that every morning.
I used to go on the website, dude, and refresh.
Yeah, because you knew it was coming, for
it to come out.
And so you just waited. But like, and again, during like some of the fall, like I look forward to like a new hunting public video or something. But I don't have that draw in that I'm like just waiting for something to drop. Like Jeff will drop a video, and like I don't know when he's gonna drop videos. Like it just seems like they're always happening, and I'll catch one and I'll watch it. And I'll catch one and I'll watch it. Which is why super roundabout way, it was important for us to just sit down for an hour and talk because I know it's Tuesdays at 6 p.m. we drop this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And it just there's a reliance, there's a dependency on that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And for us as like the hosts or whatever,
well, we just want a routine.
It's nice for us to routine is good.
Yeah, but there's not a show that I can say, well, I look forward to that coming out. Even on the mainstream stuff. Like for Netflix, when that season drops, I watch that full season in usually sequential days, and then I'm done. It's not like, oh, that was a great episode last Thursday. I can't wait till next Thursday. You don't say that.
The last hunting show I can remember being excited for it to like come out was Chasing November.
Yeah.
Yeah, like season 3 or whatever.
And you knew where those sequential drops were going to be.
Yeah.
I'd be interested. I mean, people comment on this thing. Like, tell us, like, what do you look forward to? What are you waiting for to drop this week or next week or whatever? Or in the fall, what are you waiting for to drop? Maybe it's the entire season of Whitetail Edge with Ben Rising. Maybe it's the episodes of Midwest Whitetail because those still have a sequential drop, piece of it.
Yeah,
but
I look forward to Ben stuff too.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, here you go.
So, but it's
YouTube.
Yeah, but those are the few and far between that I'm like, I know that they're coming. I kind of know when they're going to drop, and I'm looking forward to
They're
them.
seasonal, too. I mean, it's, if we had this conversation.
Which is why I would go back and watch, Ben or Bill's episodes right now because there's nothing new to watch.
Yeah.
What am I going to watch? I watch 15 minutes of Jeff or Don Higgins or somebody because they're doing a habitat thing, and that's cool because it's relevant to this time of year, but I don't know. I don't expect that to drop. I expect things to drop in the fall at certain times. And that's where outdoor television still has a little bit of a hang. I mean, when you watch an episode of Bone Collector, right, you got to wait till next week till the new one comes out. That's how it works, which is so weird to think about in today's society. But you watch it on X day, and you got to wait till the next week till to watch the next one.
Which clearly doesn't work.
But in outdoor television, too, let me deviate there.
It's like basically like writing a handwritten letter.
There's a beginning and middle and an end to every episode. Unlike most TV, which is like, I just watch episode 1, I can't wait for 2 because it pulled me into it. Usually watch a full hunt, beginning, middle, end. You don't need to see the next episode. The next episode, they may be 5 states away hunting a whole different animal. So it doesn't, that was the one thing, and I think we were going to try it. And, kudos to somebody who does. We were
Not that we won't ever.
No. I think we were going to try to pull people through an entire season from August to January and basically pull you through. So when you watched it, you're like, damn, dude, what happens in October? Because who does that? I mean, a little bit Midwest whitetail, but there's still pretty much a beginning, middle, and end.
I like our format a lot. I mean, if we were going to try it again, I think that's a kind of a cool template to start. We were just going to do this quarterly, like throughout the season, kind of segments, like early season, October, November, and then late season.
Yep.
Because that's our season.
That's our season.
Yeah, it's just what we do. I wanted to format around what we do.
And something that happens in September could be a big build-up to what actually happens in October or November.
And dude, maybe that's where we're left feeling like this void. It's like, dude, it's not possible to authentically capture a hunting season or experience in such a rate that we're consuming the content. You know what I mean? If I get on Instagram or TikTok, scroll. Yeah, I know what you did last season.
Yep.
Yeah, it took me a whole season to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's kind of like leaves you with like, what exists now. And dude, I know the hunting public is an interesting one because it's like it's hours and hours and hours of content. Like each episode is 20 minutes, half hour, or something like that. And it's not dense with kills like traditional hunting content. It's just very
open
documentary
story.
Like
journey.
Yeah.
Journey
documentary, like however you would describe their style. It's cool. They obviously have a large following.
It's different.
They're great people. They're great guys, good hunters. Yep. I don't know.
Well, and if you watch an episode, there's a good chance you need to watch the next one to see what happened. Which is leaning towards the right way. That was the one thing that, I enjoyed it even when I was a kid watching it on, back when it was like Buckmasters and Realtree Outdoors and like those were the only ones like you watched. But like I could watch an episode on Sunday night and like I didn't have to watch it next Sunday night because like it was a whole different episode. I didn't miss anything. I mean, that's the success of these series in mainstream is that if you miss an episode, you got to go back and watch it or you can't watch the rest. So it forces you, if it's a good series, to watch the whole thing. TV shows don't. If you watch one episode, man, that was great. You might never see the next 12.
Yeah. Well, or maybe here's this. Dude, at least when the Outdoor Channel was here, like, everybody could kind of relate to something. Everybody was like, yeah, watch the Outdoor Channel. You might watch a different show or whatever.
But you watched it.
Like, what can hunters relate to now? There isn't one thing.
No,
we're so segmented. It's like, there's people that watch the hunting public, and there's overlap of all this.
There's people that watch Outdoor Channel. There's people that just watch random YouTube. There's people that don't watch anything. People watch Sturgis every week.
Yeah, but there is nothing that like all hunters or most hunters can be like, we're together on that. No. Yeah, I really,
doesn't exist.
Not good.
Well,
maybe YouTube. I mean, maybe most people watch YouTube.
Do we get bonus algorithm points for saying YouTube like 50 times?
YouTube.
Yeah. Well, that's about it for this podcast. We didn't have a ton. A little bit of a rant.
I wish we had kind of a more a positive outcome on that. I mean, dude, our outlook is obviously positive.
My outcome would be comment. Tell me what you watch. What do you watch? What do you look forward to?
Yeah, dude, maybe there's stuff we don't know about. Like
that would be awesome. I mean, I will say this, not to deviate from the close, is I used to look forward to Whitetail Adrenaline videos. Yep. When they would put out a new video, I would usually buy the DVD right away, and I used to watch that in my office.
Yeah.
And it was cool. And now I would binge watch it in 2 days, and then I'd be out. But, like, I used to look forward to watching those videos.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm sure it still exists out there. And but yeah, tell us what you look forward to coming out. Don't brown nose us and tell us Hunter, but like tell us like what do you look forward to on a outdoor channel side, maybe personal too. Like what do you watch on Netflix and stuff? But what do you look forward to coming out and saying, man, I can't wait to watch X. And let's leave it with that.
I'll come up with something for that too.
Yeah.
I'm excited I think they're going to keep doing Chase in November, right?
They will.
I like the format for that.
Yep,
I'm excited to see that come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there'll be some good ones.
I'm excited to see Whitetail Edge. I'm excited to see what Ben does this year.
Like, 4 giants in 12 days?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there'll be some good stuff. But, yeah, I'm excited to see. It's not all Debbie Downer stuff, but it's something to think about is, you know, as a community, we have to demand it. You know, until people hear what the community wants, they're just going to keep doing whatever they want to do.
Or pioneer it.
Yep.
Make it ourselves.
That's it. So,
which the podcast is kind of like our best stab.
Yeah, that's our best pioneer.
You know, that's probably why we're like, I don't know what to watch, dude. So let's just, you and I just talk about it. And
yeah. Well, we appreciate everyone listening to this episode of HUNTR Podcast.
Hopefully I hit record on the board correctly and this actually recorded.
Yeah, Coltie, not here. So yeah, if you just listened to 60 minutes of us going and no sound, sorry.
We'll get it next time around.
But all right, we'll catch you next week.
Later.
Take me